this is the video in question. All right, HDTV Test uploaded a video of how to HDR with the Nintendo Switch 2, which I was highly looking forward to. However, it seems to be under the incorrect assumption that if you're going to 120 FPS mode, it's going to drop the chroma sampling to 420. So I just want to demonstrate that that doesn't happen. So here it actually said that it was basically calibrated under limited range, because if it does drop to 420, you might as well set limited range and then have a consistent experience between permanently have it as limited, basically. So if I scroll down here, we'll see a comment that says this is incorrect. And Nintendo's own website also says that 4K is capped at 60, and that if you want 120 FPS, that it's 1440p or 1080p, basically. I'm just looking for that comment that says this is incorrect. Here we are. So yeah, does not drop to 420 and 120 FPS gameplay. Instead chooses to drop the resolution. I did the same comment basically a little bit further down, saying that my TV reports when you go to 120 Hz that it drops the output to 1440p 120 and is still 10-bit RGB. So let's have a look. I've got a video here that actually demonstrates that, and I'll just open this. So this is HDMI on, yep, this is what I want. So what I found was kind of funny is that I can't pick 1440p, but when I choose the game in the welcome tour, which is guess the frame rate, it does set the output to 120 Hz at 1440p. How? If my TV apparently doesn't support it. Even funnier that at the bottom there it says that the possible resolutions with and without HDR is only 60 Hz refresh rate possible, I should say. But if I check the actual output of the TV, it does actually say it's 1440p 120 RGB 10-bit full. So that's 444 chroma. That's basically everything. Maybe the reason for this is because the PlayStation does this. It stays at 4K, and here we have HFR, so high frame rate mode off, and we get full RGB 12-bit color with the PS5, and that's because it's got more than 24 gigabits per second bandwidth. If I then change high frame rate mode to on, once the TV changes there, you will see that it's now 4K 422 chroma sampling, now 80 Hz, so up to 120. A little bit more, I just want to show that if you are using the Switch 2, please actually plug it into your higher bandwidth port on your TV if you have 2 speeds. A lot of TVs, like those that use the Media Pantonic 1000 chipset, only has 2 HDMI 2.1 ports. They will be labeled like 4K 120. Basically, this is what happens if you put it on a 2.0 port. So 4K will be RGB if HDR is off, because that's 8-bit color. But as soon as you increase it to 10-bit color, which you'll see when I turn HDR on here, basically, it's going to drop to 420. So maybe that's where this assumption came from, or maybe it's from the PS5. But yeah, so that stays at 4K. Please use a HDMI 2.1 port so that you keep your crisp 444 chroma sampling. And if I use this video as the other example, you'll see that as soon as I change HDR back on again, we don't lose the full RGB. It doesn't drop chroma sampling if you're using a higher speed port. That's it. Everybody seems to be talking about check your cable. I'm going to say more important probably is check the port that you're using on your TV.